So Citizen M, put your shit in the Rumble chat there and the YouTube. Put it everywhere. Citizen M says, wait until the Ricada video I'm doing. I'm going to destroy Nick harder than CPS ever could. I saw some Alyssa clip stuff today. And again, when I talk about turning the corner, a month ago or even like 3 weeks ago, watching him like tell blatant lies and try to fool people would have made me upset. It would have made me angry. Now I watch it and I just get sad because all I can think of, like a group I belong to, there's a term called detachment, where when you're affected by people's certain behaviors, you have to detach. You can't try to rationalize it. You can't try to, oh, they should apologize. Oh, they really hurt me. Do they even know? You just detach. And I've noticed that detachment is kind of complete because when I see that going on and the situation he's in and watching him just blatantly lie to people about what these papers say and stuff, I just look at it and I go, that's got to be a really hard life. I don't look at it and I go, this and that. I just look at it, I go, that's got to be really tough for him. And everybody there, it's got to be, if Kayla's there, it's got to be tough for Kayla. If April's there, it's got to be really tough for April. It's got to really suck. I spent the day with friends and my kids, and we were playing Coob out in the backyard, playing yard games and stuff. And I made him spaghetti. Think about what I got. And I know I'm getting clipped for this too by that AI guy. But I just think about all that stuff and I go, that's got to be really hard for them. Especially the feeling the need to go publicly and lie to people about it. Like if I were in that situation, my mouth would be shut. I'd have given up. I'll admit, I'd have given up and said, I'm not a streamer anymore. This has cost me too much. I'm done. I need to work on getting my kids back. Whatever money I've saved, that's the money I'm going to live on for a while. And I need to work on getting my children back. And watching people do the opposite of that and feel that it's important to, talk to strangers on the internet about these situations because you can't stand not controlling how they think about it. It doesn't make me mad anymore. I just look at it and I go, that's too bad. It's just, that's got to be a shit life, and that's got to be really hard. And I hope that steps are taken to make that better. Because like I said, that suffering doesn't help me at all. So Citizen M, I do know this. I think by the end of the summer, we're getting all the VIP stuff sent out that April never sent out. I'm getting all caught up by the end of summer. The stuff is here. I'm going to go pick it up, start mailing it out. I kind of knew that the minute, one of the first things I thought when I was on MLC, and they sent me April's mugshot, is I went, well, all those radio talks are going to slow down a little bit. I think they're going to want to stay away for just a little bit as I'm connected to all this. Oh. Luckily, yeah, I still talk to them from time to time, and it's just, hey, don't worry about it. Let's just, get through this. Like, I suppose it wouldn't help to say I'm not actually involved or charged with anything. And they're like, I wish we would have gotten divorced earlier and she would have had her name changed by then. Would have made things a lot easier for me. God, I want to say it was like very early on. It might have been before YouTube even. Might have been while we were still on Twitch. And we reached out to Josh Denny, and I guess he didn't like what we were doing or something. And he did say, he's like, man, having your wife on the air, it's a big mistake. Having your partner on the air, it's a big mistake. Not a good idea. And he did warn me about it. And I don't remember being a dick about it. I don't remember being an asshole. He used to call April Jules. Like if April would email him asking him to be on the show, he'd call her Jules. So I don't know if they got into it or if we talked shit about him or something. Sorry if we did. But yeah, he did. In DMs. I don't even think it was public. I think he privately warned me. He's like, having your wife on the show is a bad idea. And it usually ends poorly. And he was right. He was right. Especially like it's just the being around each other all the time. But then also, April was always someone who did very well when she was being complimented and did very poorly when she was being criticized. And if she was being criticized, it was never something she had to look into and never her fault. It was always, it was always what's wrong with these people. And that's like that kind of attitude. That's going to be a ticking time bomb for working on the internet, unfortunately. And that's the thing. Like, things would be really good on the show, and then April would catch a lot of shit for something, and then we would fight about it, and she would get mad about it and upset, and then we go back up again. She's so happy. Things are great, blah, blah, and then something would happen. It was a roller coaster. The highs were incredibly high. I can't complain about the highs, man. They were great, but the lows did a number on me, boy. And I'm sure her too, but that was a mind, the lows, I tell you that much. But yeah, Josh Denny absolutely warned them. West Coast Patriot Girl says, or warned me, I'm sorry. West Coast Patriot Girl says, if you love them, keep them to yourself, though. Yes, absolutely. Don't swing. Don't share partners. If you do that, by the way, if you want to do that, you don't love your spouse anymore, and you just want to f some strange. That's all that is. That's all that is. So, yeah, don't do that. Keep them to yourself. Treat them special. And that goes for both men and women. And as far as, like, working with them, I can't recommend it. Like, don't let them in on your business or anything like that. Keep your own shit, and then you guys will be a lot happier. Number one Josh Denny fan says he said it on Killstream. Okay. Well, I mean, Ralph could use some advice, just like kind of on day-to-day life. I think, like, you don't skip over and talk to me. Like, I'm on the upswing. I'm improving. You got to talk to them about some things, dude. But yes, Josh did warn me, and Josh was right, and I was wrong. Nick the Milkman with $5 says, nobody cares about your drug take, considering that an energy drink is too much for you. Shut the f up, you lightweight. Can you argue with a guy when he's right? You can't, can you? There's no arguing with the dude when he's got it. All right. I don't drink when I'm sad, and I don't drink when I'm by myself. I need it to be a social situation, and I need to be having a good time. I'm not saying I don't understand why people drink when they're sad. I get it, I guess. But I don't know. For me, it's more just, it's a mood enhancer, you know? That's what I didn't like about the drugs that I did when I was in Spicer. Is like, there was one time, like, everyone was being so dramatic and everyone was fighting. I remember I wanted to take that night. And I remember that was like a low for me. I didn't feel good that I wanted to do that. And I remember we were doing something. We got out of the hot tub, and I was a little zooted. You know, I was a little overstimulated. And Kayla came up to me, and she put her arms on my shoulders. She goes, "Are you all right?" And I'm like, "Not really. I just don't feel a little fucked up. Don't feel good." And that was like my low point, because I'm like, I know I took this dose of because people were fighting, and it was a stressful, dramatic situation, and I didn't like it, and I wanted to just relax and chill. I didn't like that. I didn't like that I did that. I didn't like that that was the reason. For me, I'm Rick Dalton from Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. My booze don't need nobody. I just drugs are not for me.